All right, well, welcome everybody. Nobody has joined yet, but I'm going to start the live stream anyway. Uh, I'm doing basically another video, a live stream of it, basically talking about the Double Servants, and that's a wrap on the movie. Filming has been completed, and I'm really happy about that. Um, and yeah, so basically, um, I started writing the screenplay for this movie back in 2019. Hey, Mario Mania, 1, 2, 3, 4. Um, how you doing? Oh, you asked me how I'm doing. I'm doing okay. How are you doing? I could be worse. Okay. Mario Mania. I don't know if you got my. Okay, you're doing okay. Okay. Um, I guess the live chat thing is like slow. I don't know if there's a delay. I go through my settings all the time, but I don't know. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. um, but yeah. So thank you for joining Mario Mania. At least there, now that there's somebody in here, I feel more excited to talk about uh, wrapping the movie. So there's the double servant mask, and then the other double servant's mask. So I don't really want to give really anything away about the film, you know, but I do want to talk a little bit about it. I have to talk a little bit about it. But the title is sort of a tribute to James Cameron's Aliens. I always loved the title of those two films. It was like Alien, Aliens. I just thought that was so clever. Um, and it's such a great title. And I thought, instead of calling it The Devil Servant 2, or whatever, The Devil Servants sounds really good, for a second title. My opinion, I think it's a great title. And it really fits the story, it fits the plot, fits the narrative. Um, and it's obviously more than one Devil Servant. And, that's pretty much as far as I want to go with it. Um, you might be confused as to why I'm in it. Um, but I can at least say I'm not going to really talk about my character much, but his twin brother is in the first movie, Matthew. The bully from the first one. He's in the his twin brother's in the second movie, which it was fun to play. A twin. I've never played a twin brother before. A twin of, yeah. That was fun though, to play. But I played this character and then played this character, yet they're twins. So I just thought that was really cool to play, and hopefully it pulls off when the movie comes out. And feel free to ask any questions, and the ones I can answer, I will answer. It's just because the film just wrapped, and I just feel like, oh, I don't really want to say much. Um, I think closer to the release of the film, I'm gonna talk more about it, but um, I just don't want to spoil it. It's um, and that was actually, it was a lot more difficult in the first one to uh, hide what the story was, but I don't want people going into these movies and they know what's gonna they know what's gonna happen. I want them to be surprised. Was it nice to film after a while? Yeah, I've actually felt so much better um, about myself ever since I've gotten back into making movies again. Which that was in April. I've been feeling more and more like me, and more like the old me before the pandemic, because I sort of lost myself for a long time, uh, and went through a lot of anxiety. Um, and I was always in a consistent state of fear with during the pandemic. So all that messed with my head and other personal things in my life that just did a lot of damage to me. Um, and a lot of it I don't talk about it because this channel isn't about anything besides my content, really. So, but yeah, it was a rough couple years for sure, and I learned a lot. Um, but it was definitely a real life horror film, um, and I guess it sort of gave me time to really think more about my movies and stuff like that. But The Double Servants and Insane Cage of Madness, uh, Part One and Part Two were on my mind all the time. I mean, that's just I have such a passion for these projects, and what goes into them. So, uh, yeah. And I also worked out for the role. I'm not gonna really talk about that. I'm just saying I did work out for the role. I think it's pretty noticeable now. Um, my early videos, I was very scrawny, and uh, to play Andrew, um, that's just the name of his character. I couldn't um, be all like scrawny. I had to be like a little, I had to show some muscle, because then I'm also playing Bradley from Insane Cage of Madness Part One, Part Two, and he's very fit and stuff. So I just want to make sure that's consistent. Once the movies are done filming, I'll probably go back to being so scrawny like it used to be. But um, I don't know. Yeah, what you do for your movies, that's good to hear. Nice to know you're in a better place. Thank you, thank you. Um, yeah, I'm not in like an amazing place or anything like that, but I am in a much better place. Um, and yeah, I went to Wisconsin. I got to visit my family. I went to my cousin's graduation. Willem Dafoe was there because he graduated at the same college that my cousin just graduated at. A lot of my family graduated that day, but yeah, I was literally sitting just like a little far from Willem Dafoe, and I was like filming it, and I was freaking out. I remember when I was at the graduation, it was like in this arena, and he had this long speech, and he talks about his whole life and the industry, his career, uh, and like it was so good, and like I was like, oh my god, that's Willem Dafoe, like. I That it was just also cool because, like, when I heard as a kid that he lived in Wisconsin, that's where I'm from, I was like, "What?" But as an adult to actually see him at his original college, the college he graduated at, and his, speech, that was just really powerful. You can look it up on YouTube as well, and I have a video of it, but, like, it it was just so good. Like, I mean, it was really good. And it was yeah, it was powerful, and, um it was just amazing to like see that you know I don't go to conventions or anything like that, so I never meet celebrities. So whenever anything like that happens, it's like, oh my god. I've only met Mark Hamill and Raven Simone. Those are the big names that I've met. But yeah, I haven't met like a tons of celebrities, and I also kind of don't want to because I like the mystery of not knowing who they are. Um, because I love all these movies, and I feel like if I knew them and you know and something was like they were mean to me or whatever, that might throw me off. It might ruin those movies for me. So um, yeah, I worry about that. But thankfully, I haven't never had that situation with meeting celebrities. But yeah, that was really cool. And Willem Dafoe like had like a bunch of security, and like he had to leave before everybody else could. Like it was awesome. So yeah, I was with my family, and it was great to see everybody. Because I never go to Wisconsin. I haven't been there. Well, I went there last year because my aunt passed away. Um, but overall, I've not really been there a lot since I moved out here. But yeah, I've made friends out here, and I've made movies out here. Like I'm really happy about that, you know. And I'm wowed of like all the films that I've made out here so far. And I'm not talking about Destiny and because that was Destiny and Ghostface movies were half shot out here and half shot in Wisconsin. Um, and then November 3rd was filmed in all of Wisconsin. Um, most of the movie. Uh, yeah, so I'm gonna start with Ghostface story. Ghostface story. Um, the other one. Hold on. Confession of Twilight fan short. The Devil Servant. Halloween New Blood. No, wait, I always forget this one. Sorry, Halloween November 4th, Halloween New Blood, Insane Cage of Bandits Part 1, The Devil Servants, and Insane Cage of Bandits Part 2. So that's about 8 movies, uh, 8 short films that I've made out here. In how many years since I lived out here? It's been about 5 years. Yeah, 5 years I've lived here. So that's not too bad. Um, and I've had a lot of fun. But anyway, to talk more about The Devil Servants, filming started in April of this year, and I shot some scenes for the movie back last year, but this year, I this is like a lot of the filming of the movie. I can't remember. I have to go back, but I don't know if like the Devil Servants scenes were some the ones that I shot early on were 2020 or 2021. It's just been that long since I filmed those scenes, but I'll have to go back. Um, but the main filming was started in April, and it was a lot of fun. It was a really fun start. Uh, I got to work with Cassidy. She's in the movie, and she got to play a small role this time around. She usually plays kind of like the main character. It's quite the accomplishment. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. Um, she usually plays, you know, the main character when she's in my films, or like a very major supporting character. Um, but this time around, she plays a smaller part. It's still crucial to the plot. She's not like a useless character. Like she's just not there for the sake of being there. She has a purpose in the story. But uh, yeah, I did something different with her character, and I did something different with my character. I wanted being cast to play completely different people than who we are. So that was a lot of fun. Um, and it was just exciting to be making my movies again. It was sort of surreal. And then filming continued, and that went on into May, um, and it was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun, and then I wrapped filming all on Monday. Yeah, last Monday, and I just can't believe that it's done. I'm going I'm going tomorrow to film a scene for the movie uh, that originally wasn't in the script, but I'm going to add because some things changed throughout the filming process. With some of the actors, I had to do some rewrites and change some things that I had to. I had to. So uh, filming wrapped on Monday, and um, it was a. I mean, it's always a challenging process, but it was also really fun. Um, but I had to change a little bit of the film. Um, and the movie was consistently rewritten throughout the 2 years, 3 years that I've been in the works of this movie. So the movie has just been rewritten upon rewritten upon rewritten, and then things have been brought back and changed around, and it's probably the most overwhelming, exhausting screenplay I've ever written of any of my films before. Um, so it was quite quite a challenge, bringing it all to live action, and that's how any film that I make. There's always going to be that challenge bringing everything to life. And when you cast actors for these movies, you don't necessarily always know what's going to happen. So you have to take a risk when you're low budget, and hope that everything works out. And if it doesn't 100% go the way you wanted it to go, that would have really helped the plot, or a lot of the writing. Then you have to work around things and change things, and yeah, it must be such a catharsis every time you wrap a film, another notch under your belt. Yeah, yeah, it's a breath of fresh air, and then I'm able to think about anything else that I need to put in the film that wasn't in the film. But there are tons of scenes. I hate to say that. Not like 20 scenes, that I didn't film or anything like that. It was just certain scenes that I was not able to film, sadly, due to scheduling and you know, uh, s- yeah. And there was a lot of scheduling conflicts, problems with this film. That's for sure. But everybody pulled through and did what they needed to do. And I think everybody did a great job. I think everybody was awesome in this movie. I just wish that I could have had more time, more time with them, because then it would just make a better movie. Because I noticed the longer the actor plays that character, the more they get into it, and the better their acting gets. So when you film a movie in a short period of time, and the actors don't really know their characters that well, or they only maybe read the script once, or they don't really, or they're on set and they don't remember a lot of their lines. That's why rehearsing is so important. But then when you're low budget, it's like, you want to have all these Zoom meetings and rehearse all these scenes, but it's very difficult to do that low budget. And it's also the actors that you pick, but you don't know, what's going to happen, when you hire an actor, sometimes. Uh, so yeah, it was just complicating process experience, but it was still fun, a lot of fun. I would say that I had still more fun on this movie than I did with, uh, I would say, Insane Cage of Madness, or at least part one. I haven't shot all of part two, so I don't know how that experience is going to be yet. But the filming process for part one of Cage of Madness was pretty overwhelming, and my hair had to be long all the time, and all the scenes I had to shoot for part two. Uh, my hair is like long, like this long, and it was exhausting to have that long a hair. Um, so I just couldn't wait till I could cut it. And then, of course, when I was very close to the end of filming my scenes for the movie, I only had a few scenes left. But I was going to get a haircut that spring, and everything was shut down at the time, you know, uh, and I just couldn't get a haircut. until the summer, and it was just like, oh, it's horrible. But uh, yeah, and I was also like, if I'm gonna play two different characters and these movies are gonna come out in a short amount of time, I want the look of the characters to be different. I want Bradley to have long hair. Whatever signifies these characters, but visually, what I think fits for the character. Uh, and I think Bradley's character, with this that long hair, that works with his character. Like he's almost like he's never got a haircut. He's never done anything with himself. Like he's just, he's been gone ever since what happened to him. I thought that was, realistic, and I didn't want to wear a wig. I tried the wig in the Destiny Goes Space Part One, and everybody laughed. Everybody thought that was a horrible wig, and I said, never again am I ever gonna wear a wig in my films. I'm gonna just use my natural hair. So, um, but yeah. Um, and then Andrew, he has short hair, and I've had literally this is the look of Andrew's character. Now, not necessarily like how my hair looks at the very moment. His is a little bit more. It's more gelled up, more put back a little bit. Um, but I've had to have that look of Andrew uh, for these 3 years. Like throughout the whole pandemic. And when am I going to be able to film this? And who actors can I get? And then when can I pick a time to shoot it? So I've had to have this certain look for. Now, by the way, there is no facial hair in the movie when I played the character, so don't worry about that. All this is shaved off. Not Bradley's character, because I think it fit Bradley's character, because that character's a mess. He doesn't care. But uh, I'm shaved in the Andrew character, um, and yeah. Sometimes I don't mind growing out a little bit, but I shave a lot. It's just my hair grows back quick. It's just how my hair is. Like when I get a haircut, my hair grows back so quick. Like I completed filming the movie on Monday, and my hair already looks 2 weeks later, and it's only been a week. Well, not even 100% a week yet. So it was fun to work with Cassidy once again. She wasn't like a co-director on it like Halloween New Blood. She was sort of like an assistant director, which was cool because I was starring in the movie. So I also, had to write and I had to direct and act in this movie at the same time. So it was, difficult. So it's good to have like an assistant director there. Um, and she helped with all like the camera filming and all that stuff. And um, she was a big help with the set. She helped build the sets for the movie um, uh, a lot. And me and her collabed, putting everything together. But she did a lot of it, and I'm really really grateful for that. Uh, but it was hard to pick a certain location for the movie. Uh, More so, you know, the a certain part of the movie that requires a house. And literally went to like 3 to 4 different people if I could film at their house uh, for it. The movie, and it didn't turn out. It didn't work out. So um, I used my sister's apartment in Philly, and originally the sequel was going to take place in Norristown, PA, just like the first one. But this, but because I filmed majority of this movie in Philly, um, I decided to have it be set in Philadelphia for the sequel. And there's like a really cool shot that I got for the movie that's at the very end of the film. I'm not going to give anything away, but um, it's a shot in the movie that you've kind of never seen before of any of my films. Like it's going to be like a whoa. And I shot this. Nice to have support from your sister. Yes, she really helped. Um, where was I? Sorry. Um, I used my iPhone 13 for this movie, and the Osmo. Both are 4K, so they were both filmed in 4K. The whole movie. It's my first movie that I ever like fully shot in 4K before, um, and in HDR. So it was pretty wowing experience. That part, like wow, the quality is insane. Like my movies have never looked this good before. Like it looks really good. It looks, I guess, on Sci-Fi Channel uh, quality. Um, so it no longer looks like it's a fan film, but it doesn't look like a Hollywood, production film. It looks like a Sci-Fi Channel-ish kind of movie, I guess. Um, but like not in a bad way. If that makes sense. Not in a bad way, in a good way. Um, but that's how it looks. It looks really good. It just doesn't look, $50 million budget film or $20 million budget movie or $10 million budget film. Uh, but I'm really happy with the cameras, and the Osmo that was um, given to me, sort of just kind of like, here you go. I'm not use this camera anymore from my sister, and then I had to get a new iPhone, and I was like, this camera quality is perfect for it. So I love how the movie looks, and I think it's my best looking movie. And the rest of Cage of Madness that I'm going to be filming will be shot in this quality. So really, like these recent two movies are coming out. These next two movies that are coming out are going to be my best quality of my movies, which I'm really happy about because um, some of my movies don't look high def, you know, and when I got my first like camcorder that was all digital, like you didn't have to use a tape. It was just an SD card, which was so weird for me. Well, then the first movie that I made with a camcorder, but it was SD card, was Jester, which the first Jester was a lot of fun, but and it was just like a kind of a wowing thing. It was like, oh, a new camera. This doesn't look too bad. Um, but I didn't notice when I filmed Jester Returns, The Revenge of a Ghost Face. I shot all those in 360 format. I had no idea that the setting was that low, and also back in 2011, I didn't think about it as much. And it wasn't until the Destiny films where they were shot in 480, which looked a lot better than 360 quality. But yeah, I've learned a lot as a director from that time. I didn't know like the formatting so much as like now, like the quality, resolution, and all that, like what that means. Now I know all of that now. But back when I was, making a movie at 15, 16, I didn't think about that so much. But when I went ahead and made the Destiny films, I was like, oh, I've been filming my last three movies in 360 format. I don't I didn't even know it. So I was like, okay, switching to 480 now. That was the highest that my camera could go at the time. That camera was 480, and then I got really sick of the quality. So then I got a new camera. That was that underwater Samsung. That was like 1080p. So even though it wasn't a camcorder, I thought it was still a way better camera than that camcorder. It couldn't zoom in like the camcorder that I had. That was the best part of my camcorder is that I could zoom in really far. That was the best part. Um, but can't wait to see the quality difference. Yeah, you'll see a massive change in quality. I started using the Osmo camera with Halloween New Blood as well. Um, so that was the first movie that I ever like used an Osmo, and then I used it a tiny bit for Cage of Madness Part One, but like all of it's going to be an Osmo and my iPhone 13 for all the rest of with Part Two. Um, 2060p camera or no camera, XO. I need to see. Oh man. Hey, no spoiling the movie, David. You cannot spoil the movie. You can't. This is not a spoiler live stream. This is the talk about the movie without spoilers. Oh, but anyway, this is David K. He's in the movie The Devil Servants. He's one of the actors in the film, and yeah, I had a great time working with him. I think he did a great acting job, and I'm excited for everyone to see everybody's role, everyone's performance in this movie, because everybody worked hard, everybody did a great job, and I can't wait to see. I can't wait for people to see um, everyone's hard effort that was put into this movie, and I'm really excited. There's a lot of exciting action in this movie and stuff, and it's just I can't wait, for people to see it. I'm ready for my razzle, Razzie, a razzle word. Yeah. It. Yeah. So the movie started in April and then ended back on Monday. But I'm going to film a scene tomorrow. There's actually an add-in scene that I'm putting in for the film that originally wasn't there, but because certain scenes won't, I'm not able to get into the film. I'm adding like other scenes that were never there to make it a little longer and flesh out any of the characters. Um, so I'm doing that tomorrow, and then there's going to be probably two to three more scenes left that I'll have to film for this movie during post production. Um, but yeah, um, I'm still speechless that the filming has wrapped and everything. But there are at least three scenes that I have to get for this movie, um, which they're not reshoots. That's not the word I would call it. There are scenes that I wasn't able to film at the time, uh, but then given the opportunity later. So um, yeah, but it's all necessary. Whatever I'm adding in, I'm not just filming. I'm not just filming unnecessary, scenes. So uh, all of it is important. But yeah, and then now I have Cage of Madness Part Two, which that'll be filmed I think in August. It will definitely be filmed this year. It'll be coming out next year, spring of next year. I think around April. I'd like to release it. So about a month after Scream 6 comes out. Um, it was supposed to come out June of this year, but because of the pandemic, that wasn't a possibility. Because this year it's been 10 years since the first Insane movie and Insane Michael's Origin. I don't know if you Mario Mania, if you remember Nick Longo, Bobby Keene. I don't know if you. I didn't make like a video about it, but Nick Longo passed away uh, this year, sadly, and Bobby Keene passed away a few years ago, uh, and it's just really really sad because they're both the main characters in Insane Michael's Origin. So going back and watching that movie, I'm watching two people that are no longer with us. So it's bizarre, it's eerie, sad, but I am grateful that there was like a legacy they left behind. There's these movies that I can always go back to, and people can go back to and watch that people enjoy and grew to enjoy. Those movies will always be there. Those films will always be there on my channel. So, uh, oh, thank you for your support, Maromania and David. Thank you. I seen something on Twitter that GTA 6 is rumored to be set in Colombia/Miami. Woo! Vice City. Mario Mania, I don't know if you're a GTA fan, but uh, yeah. Oh my God, GTA 6 in Miami. Yeah, may they rest in peace. Bobby introduced the Manhunt series to me, and I didn't get around to playing Manhunt until 2018. It was about it was after I filmed The Devil Servant. I bought it on the PlayStation Store, and I was like, "Ooh, okay." And it was a PS4 remaster, and I was like, "This is a really great game. This is terrifying. This is the music's incredible." So that video game, I was like, "Wow, how did it take so long for me to play this?" And then Nick, me and him would play Splinter Cell all the time. That we went to see Scream 4 together with all my sister's friends. That was a lot of fun. Um, and he was in all my films, and we played Grand Theft Auto a lot. We played GTA 4 a lot, and we would talk about GTA 5. Like, when is GTA 5 going to come out? We talked about where it should be set, and he was like, "Oh, it should be set in Los Santos," and go figure. GTA 5 is set in Los Santos. That was revealed later on, but a lot of people predicted that it would be Los Santos. Um, and I was hoping that they were going to go back to Vice City in GTA 5 and then Los Santos in GTA 6, because I thought they were going to do it in order, kind of like they did with the old GTA trilogy. But maybe that was too predictable. Maybe it's good that they kind of did something different. Oh, have a nice stream, fellows. I'm watching a show. Okay, David. Talk to you later. Um, but yeah. Um, so I would play GTA 4 with him a lot and Splinter Cell, and I'd talk about GTA 5, GTA 6 all the time, and I would talk to Bobby about Grand Theft Auto 5 and 6 and those franchises. Um, and it's just really sad, and but I'm glad that there's good memories I have of these people before they passed. Uh, but I think these last two Insane films are a great tribute to them and to this franchise. And to me, there's really only two films in the Insane movies, which is the first one and the prequel. And to me, Cage of Madness Part One and Part Two are like an epilogue to the first one and the prequel. Um, I think it's more so an epilogue, I would call it, than sequels. Because I don't know, like the first movie, has a beginning, middle, and end, and the prequel does, and those movies ended really well. So this is just kind of more like an epilogue kind of thing, but it's still important. Um, and they're probably my best directed, and like best, um, uh, shot and everything, because how much I've learned as a director, throughout time. But um, I think Michael's Origin will always be my favorite out of all the movies. But I'll see how I feel about Cage of Madness Part Two, and about the movie in general when it becomes a supercut, when I release that this um, not this year, next year. Because April, I'll release Part Two, and then in June or sometime in that summer, I will release the supercut. Um, it just depends on how much time I need, but yeah, I'm really excited for people to see the supercut. And that's not what people got with the Destiny movies. I never made Part One and Part Two a supercut because I never felt like it would work as one movie. Um, That's why, to me, it's always a two-parter, regardless if it was a finale or not. I just felt like that story needed to be two parts. Um, but Cage of Madness, I feel like that can be one movie. Originally, that's what it was. It was going to be like about 35 to 40-minute short film. Um, and I made part one longer because I didn't have enough footage to make, a certain kind of movie. So I had to come up with a lot of creative ideas. And now part two is basically going to be the rest of the movie Cage of Madness that was supposed to be shot, but now it's a part two. The cinematography, um, can't wait to see it. I'm sure it will be a nice send off. Thank you. I hope so. Um, part two is definitely different from the first three, I would say. Uh, and also, it's going to have like a blue tint to it. Part one had like a gray kind of tint to it. It was had like a gray kind of color, to it. That cinematography, that gray. Um, but part two is going to have like a like bluish, coldish feel. Because to me, that's what represents the plot. So it'll be my most blue looking movie since The Haunting of a Ghost Face. But I hope that well, I'm not gonna like overdo it, but I would love to make a film again, of course, where it can be all blue. It's my favorite color, and to me, it fits the horror genre. It fits suspense thrillers. This isn't a comedy, you know. So that's why I feel like these dark blues would fit certain scenes, Um, and hey, the movie's in color, compared to Ghostface Story where it's all black and white. So, but yeah, Mario Mania. What do you think about that? The movie being, having like a blue color tone to it, um, over being gray, uh, like part one. By the way, thank you, Mario Mania, for tuning in, and thank you, David. You guys are the only people that have tuned in. Now, I know on a Saturday night, there's not going to be a lot of people, joining a live stream. So live stream. So I will live stream again on, I think, Tuesday. I think I'm going to live stream on Tuesday night, and I'll announce it Monday night. I'll be live streaming for Tuesday, because that's when most of my subscribers are on, and they're available to like join in on my live stream. Uh, it's that Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and so that's why I mostly live stream those nights. Um, but I just felt like I had to make a live stream. I haven't made one ever, and I wanted to update everybody about my films, And I can't always do that in a video. People don't want to necessarily sit through a 20-minute video. So I feel like if I make a live stream and you guys can actually talk to me, then it's more engaging, it's more interesting. I like it. Nice way to give it a distinct aesthetic. Thank you. Thank you. Also, I have to make sure the blue looks right. It can't look so blue where everybody's face is blue. It has to, have that blue look, but I have to find a good balance. But I miss, that's was something that was the most fun about The Haunting of a Ghost Face was making the whole movie blue, giving it that blue color and coloring all those scenes. That was a lot of fun. Because I felt like that fit the tone of the movie. Just like Revenge of a Ghostface is all red. Des- sorry, Destiny Ghostface Part One is all gray, and then Destiny Ghostface Part Two has a lot of light colors. So all four movies are supposed to represent the look of the movie is supposed to represent how you're supposed to feel and how the tone of the movie is. You visually you want it to look the way that the the writing is and where and the characters and everything. You want it to fit with the tone. And I always thought that was super important to all my films was the look of the movies, was the cinematography, but more so the color grading, because colors can make you feel a certain way. And it was also back in the day, iMovie 11, back in 2011, 2012, and when all that first came out, it was like, "Oh my god, I can color my movies and I can do all this coloring." So I kinda just went crazy for a while. Um, but I was a teenager, just kind of experimenting, with what I could do as a filmmaker. Now I know my limit a lot more now, and not to go so excessive here or there, but, okay, I'll ask you, Mario Mania, this. What do you think of these masks? Now, I didn't create these masks. I got them at party stores or online, um, and have had them saved for a long time for the whenever I would make these films. So I don't I didn't create these masks, but then I sort of gave these masks costumes and then gave them characters. Um, but yeah, the first movie's been around for 4 years with that first mask. So I wonder. So I assume people like that one, but a lot of when I was on set filming this movie, directing it and everything, people said this mask is actually scarier. They thought this is actually a scarier mask and yeah, more intriguing mask, more terrifying mask. Um, uh, so that's interesting. So I guess I make the sequel. I guess the sequel scarier. I like them, especially the one on the right. Oh, the one on the right. I'm sorry, I didn't pay attention. You mean this one or this one? Left, right. Sorry, I wasn't paying attention. The one that looks like a red goblin. Ah, yeah, yeah, a lot of people like that one. Yeah, and to be honest, that originally was the first Devil Servant mask. Um, that's originally what the mask was gonna be, but, things changed, because I wanted to change, a lot of the original writing for the first movie, um, and, I think it's cool that the movie has different masks. I think that just kinda makes it it's just so cool. It's like there's this yeah, I don't wanna give away the plot, but, a lot of this stuff has been done before, and a lot of it hasn't been done before. Um, but I but with the Devil Servant movies, I've tried to make them the most original, uh, most everything. Because the Insane films could be sorta compared to Saw, I guess, you know? But the Devil Servant, you could compare it to, other devil movies if you wanted, but it is original film, and it is an original sequel. Um, and then I say the Jester movies were pretty original, even though that costume exists. It's not my costume. Uh, I brought that costume to life. Brought created a character. Um, and those Jester films were a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun with the Jester movies. It's too bad that I wasn't able to make more than one Jester film. I was supposed to make actually 7 of them. I wanted because it was going to be like sort of not like a mini series, not like a series, like a web series, but it was going to be a bunch of short films. Um, and I wanted to make at least 7 of them. So that's why Juster Returns. I went ahead and made that, and then after that was going to be Juster's Revenge, Juster and Noah, Juster Forever. It was all these different Juster titles. It was going to be really really cool, but because of the actors and this because they weren't available or it was hard to get them, that just didn't become a possibility. Um, but that would have been really fun to see, a whole Jester series. Um, Hello, Night Fright Talk Show. Hello, the horror community. Yes, this is the horror community. I believe Mario Mania 1, 2, 3, 4 is a big horror fan, just like me. Um, I got my Devil Servant masks with me tonight because this is a live stream. So these are the two iconic masks in the new movie, The Devil Servants, the sequel to the first one. The first movie, it was this mask, but yeah. Oh, who left the live stream? Was it Night Fright Talk Show or Mario Mania? Is that what the night meant? High night? No, sorry. Night Fright Talk Show. It's the name of your channel, Night. I didn't know if Mario Mania meant high night or high good night. I'm leaving the live stream. I didn't know, but I'm starting to. I'm still here. Oh, okay. Yeah, people just leave my live stream. Like, am I boring? Is it something about me, or it's a Saturday? You know, I would explain it. It's a Saturday night. You know, um, but I don't know. I don't know. I could be boring to some people, but whatever. You know, I don't think I'm boring. I think I can be pretty morbid, but not boring. And I don't think a lot of my movies are boring. So probably that's where all my energy goes. Is not the videos where I'm talking. It's when I'm making films. That's when I put all the energy that people want. You know, um, a lot of YouTube channels. It's very quick. A lot of there's all these reaction channels now, and there's this and that. So there's a lot of YouTube channels that have sort of you know dominated my channel. Uh, I created my YouTube channel in 2009, and I was getting a lot of responses from people and subscribers. And then something happened with Google, where remember when people dropped subscribers because any accounts that were no longer there, they removed, and you everybody lost subscribers. That really affected my channel for a while. And then the pandemic didn't make it easier as well. Um, but I hope to get up to 2,000 subscribers by next year. Of course, always hopefully sooner, but it's going to take these next movies to get myself up there more. You know, but there's so many YouTube channels now and so many other short films and fan films. It gets you know, I'm just one out of like a million. Millions of people that are making films right now, slasher films, whatever. Sometimes you feel like you're the only filmmaker, but then because of the experience when you're making movies, but then you look at it, it's like, yeah, I'm just one out of many. There's so many other filmmakers, and and it's like, oh wow, and it's my generation. It's people my age. Like it's just sort of surreal to me. Um, I dig your chill vibe. Thank you, thank you. I try to be chill. Um, so you noticed that someone did join for like 30 seconds and then they left. Like, what did I? What is what? What? Like, what am I doing wrong? No, but Night Fright Talk Show joined, and David, and you know, and you. So it's not like nobody joined my live stream tonight. You know, I just wish that there was like 10 people, in the live chat and, asking so many. About my movies. I guess people are not that interested, you know. I think people were more interested when I was a teenager making these movies. I think that's what people were so wowed about was back then when that there was I was this young kid making all these movies, and literally doing this and doing that and doing that. And people were like, wow, it shocked people. So I think that was sort of like my probably most popular time as a director was when I was a teenager because people were so blown away by that, you know. Um, I guess at 26 and you're making movies, there's plenty of other 26-year-olds making films right now. And it's not so much of a surprise that a 26-year-old can pull this off or pull this off, for a movie. Because how many amazing talents have we seen from directors, at 26, younger even, you know? So I feel like though I might be more taken seriously again when I get older. I think because I'm still young, you know, and I look so young, kids aren't really taken seriously. Young adults aren't really taken seriously. And I don't think it's not until you get into your 30s, and 40s when you know you're taken more seriously. If you have you know, if you have potential and there's opportunities, um, and I see that in my future is people taking me seriously more when I get older. I think I'm at the time in my life as a filmmaker where I'm very young and independent and just learning how it all works, and learning as each movie I make you know, and I have an audience and I have you and I have many, I have other people, but I don't feel like maybe I'm quite there yet when it comes to, you know, my movies have to be so much like HD quality. The sound has to be so good, like everything has to be so good, for people to really subscribe and subscribe and subscribe and subscribe. And it's got to be really something that catches their attention. And you don't necessarily know what's going to catch their attention. I didn't know Halloween November 3rd was going to get 60,000 views. I think it's 100,000 views now. I'm not even exaggerating. Maybe it's not, but I mean, like, it got a lot. It's actually my most viewed movie, most liked was Halloween November 3rd. It got better response than Halloween New Blood, and Halloween New Blood did very well. November 4th did okay. Um, Halloween November 1st, November 2nd did really well when they came out, but um, November 3rd was a hit when it came out, and I wasn't expecting that because I filmed that in September of 2016, and I got that out on Halloween of 2016. So literally just a month after filming the movie, it came out, and I just couldn't believe the responses. It was unbelievable. Yeah, the people who started making content early in YouTube history really lucked out. Yeah, I think I'm one of those people that was one of those first, you know, fan film directors, short film directors on YouTube, and back in the day, people took people like me more seriously. They really did. Because even though we didn't have YouTube live chat, you know, um, like we have now as live streams, I would go to other video chatting sites, live chat sites where I could live stream. And a lot of people would join those and they would talk to me for hours, hours, and would ask a bunch of questions. But it's not like that anymore. So let me ask you something, Mario Mania. Have you ever seen Once Upon a Time in Hollywood? Okay. Yeah, I saw it when it came out too. But the so you probably know the movie well. There was a scene, with Leo when he's reading the book, and he's talking about the character in that book, and, I don't know, I guess I can sort of, identify with that scene. Um, I sort of, in a way, I understand now, like, what he meant, um, and, you know, it's because I guess it starts at my age, 26, when you start to not feel as important, artistically, because there's so much competition, and I don't know, that scene just gets more and more powerful to me as time goes on, and Tarantino has a way of making you feel, emotions sometimes, and it's unexpected because his movies don't have a lot of emotion. It's more this, more that, so any scenes that have any emotion, it's like wow. But I thought that was a really great uh, scene in the movie. Sorry, my foot itches. Um, but anyway, um, yeah, you learn a lot in your 20s. And you learn, uh, what you should do and not do artistically and stuff. Yeah, I can definitely relate to that as well. Okay, so I'm not crazy. All right. Yeah, it's just, when you see Leo break down after, he says slightly more useless each day, it's just like so it's so sad. It's just so sad. Um, and yeah, it's just life is brutal. It's really brutal. Um, and I'm not gonna like talk about uh relationship stuff. That's not what this YouTube channel is about. But I will say I have learned a lot from the relationships I have been in since I've been out here. And yeah, you learn a lot about people um, in your life, and you learn a lot about people in your 20s. You learn more about people in ways that you never thought you could learn more about people. But yeah, last person that I was with really damaged me, traumatized me, and I've had to get a lot of therapy uh, for it. Um, but so that definitely impacted me quite a bit, and it's impacted me a lot. It's why I've made maybe less videos or less content. Uh, it's definitely taken a toll on me. Um, but I don't give up. I don't stop. I'm not going to let that person win. Of anybody, I would not want that person to win and for their points to be proven because it's not true. So I'm going to keep going. I guess we are having our quarter life crisis. LOL. Yeah, yeah. My life isn't atrocious. It's just, oh, thank you. It's not atrocious. It's just, it could be better, you know. But then, you know, that's life, you know. Um, and at least I'm able to direct my movies. I'm able to make my movies. I just got a movie done, you know. So I am living my life, and that person didn't ruin my life, Just, did that to me. So, not literally, but yeah. Um, this I actually could compare the Double Servants a little bit to Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. Remember when George Lucas he was going through a divorce when he was making that film, and Spielberg I think was going through a divorce then too. I don't know, but uh, George Lucas was so, you know, heartbroken and everything from, uh, his marriage. He put a lot of that into Temple of Doom, and that's why it's such a dark movie. Um, I guess you could sort of say Devil Servants is kind of like my Temple of Doom of all my films because this movie is a lot of that. It's like the movie is literally there's a scene where there's a bunch of fire and it represents my heart on fire. A lot of this movie it goes into a lot of the pain that I'm feeling or did feel throughout the pandemic. So uh, with your art, you can express that, you know, in a healthy way. And I've gotten really, really good therapy for it. Um, so yeah, I could be doing a lot worse. But yeah. I'm gonna live stream for probably a good another. I want this to be a solid hour and 30-minute live stream. So I'm just yeah. So I'm gonna continue it and everything. And basically wrap this up. Um, and make sure that I ended on the 1:30 mark. But before I need to get something to drink, some water. 'Cause my throat is really sore. So if that's okay, Mario Mania, if I can just go grab some water real quick, I'll literally be a second. Um, uh, but if you don't want me to go anywhere, I'll stay here. Okay, awesome. And just thank you, Mario Mania, for tuning in to this tonight. I really appreciate it. I'm talking to someone about all this, and it's not just pointless. Where like I'm just talking to myself. And of course, people can come back to this live stream and watch it after it's been, you know, but it's the coolest live. Oh boy. Okay. Just have a tight space right here. Okay. Ignore my mess at the moment. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Yeah, sorry about that. I just like my throat was getting so dry. Ugh. So yeah, a good another 20 minutes of this live stream. Um, and then I will of course get off here. But I'll just wrap things up pretty much. Um, oh, all right, yeah, this is gonna be fun to talk about. Uh, any interesting films or TV lately? Yeah, I saw Doctor Strange in the movie theater, which was a lot of fun. Um, I seen Obi-Wan Kenobi, uh, which was a lot of fun. I watched that show. That was really great. Um, the show got better. Like the last two episodes were fire. Um, and there's a scene in the last episode that's like my favorite scene of the whole series, even though it's Star Wars for TV. I sort of wish this would have been one long movie, and it would have been like Obi-Wan Kenobi, a Star Wars story, you know, and it would have went to theaters. I personally would have loved that, or if it would have been a Disney Plus exclusive film, you know, or something. I think that would have been really cool. Um, uh, I think the Obi-Wan show was lacking music when it came to like the old themes, when it came to like the prequel music and stuff and all that. I think a lot of that was missing. And I've seen fan videos on YouTube that have literally put the music that people want in these certain sequences, like lightsaber fights, and it fits the scenes way more. It's just it shocks me, you know, um, that they just wouldn't include those or tracks. But yeah, Obi-Wan Kenobi was a fun show, and I'm still speechless about that. Stranger Things was amazing. I feel like this new season was sort of the best season out of all the seasons, even though I really loved the first season a lot. Um, and the third season was really good too. Uh, but this new season, like I don't know, took everything to a whole new level. It took it somewhere. I felt like finally, like it really the story went somewhere. Um, and it's amazing that there's two more episodes of season four. It's not even the end of the season, and then we got a season five. We have a season five, which, by the way, the Dufo brothers said that it was only going to be four seasons, you know, and now they're doing five seasons. It's just so funny to me because I thought this was going to be the last. I thought this was the last season. I thought this was it, and it felt like it too. I was like, yeah, this feels like stuff is wrapping up here. Um, but no, they want to go ahead and do another season. They want to do a season five, and if it's done great, it's done great. But I would have been fine if it would have just been four seasons. Usually, when a show goes on too long, it's like after the fourth season that it starts to get bad, or not as good in quality. That happened with Shameless. The first four seasons of Shameless were flawless, perfect, and then you get to season five, and that's when it starts to fall apart. And each season, it just fell apart more and more and more. Like that last season of Shameless was like so awful. It's not even canon to me. Season 8 and season 12 or don't exist to me in the Shameless show. Um, but I've seen shows where like the longer it goes, the less in quality it gets. Not every show, but certain shows. And I worry about Stranger Things. I worry about any show going past the fourth season. You know, nice. Yeah, Stranger Things was great. The episodes were almost movie length. Yeah, they were long. These were long episodes, um, like hour and a half, 2 hours, and the twist was great. Oh, it was like it was that made the season. Like they just really did more with this story that hasn't been done, and maybe it was because of limitations, with like special effects and stuff. Maybe Netflix didn't have the money back then, and now they have the money to do all this special effects and all these action sequences, and stuff that they originally probably weren't able to originally do. Um, but you see that they even de-aged 11 in the season, so um, yeah, it was really good though. I really really enjoyed it, um, and it always was interesting, and it kept you engaged, and you wondered where the story was going to go. Some parts I was like, that's kind of how I feel about every season though. With Stranger Things, there's always like there's a few parts in every season where I'm like, all right, but overall, these are it's a great show, and it's one of the greatest intros to a TV show ever. And it's so simple, you know, but that's what makes it so effective. The whole less is more, it just has that music when you hear that, bum 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 bum. When you hear that, it's just like, I get so much goosebumps. And when I first heard that theme for the first time, when I watched the first season on Netflix, I was like, whoa, what is this? So yeah, I'm excited to see where what they're going to do at volume two of season. I guess season four has two volumes, yet volume two is only two episodes, yet they're 2.5 hours. That's just crazy to me, That's long. I mean, it's pretty much like a movie, you know. The first season had some real magic in it. Yeah, yeah. There was something special about that first season. I don't know. Um, I feel like the most like effort was put into that, and I feel like the actors were the most invested in their characters they were playing. It just, yeah, lightning in a bottle. It definitely felt more natural. And once you get to season two, then it starts to not feel so much like that. And it's kind of had that feeling each season, like a degrade, but the plot, you know, gets more and more gets bigger, and it gets more intriguing, and that stuff is what's, keeps the show going. But yeah, lightning in a bottle, which, when that happens, when something's lightning in a bottle, you can't do it twice, you know, and that's the tough part of making shows or movies, is when you get everything right, but then you can't obviously do that all over again, you know. And it's like that's what, but you want to do that though, you know. So you can only really do that again if like it wasn't a full on lightning in a bottle. It was something that could be improved, you know. So that's why I'm very selective when I make a sequel to my films, because when I'm making second a second movie, I want to make it better than the first movie. And I don't want it to be just a sequel there. Where, oh yeah, it's as good as the first one, but not as good, kind of thing. I don't. I want the sequel to be better than the first one. People to say it's better than the first one. So uh, I of course tried with the Devil Servants to make it better than the first film. Uh, but if I did not succeed, I didn't succeed. But all of it looks really, really, really good, and I'm excited to put all of it together. And I'm just really excited, for everyone to see this. It's just wowing. It's just wowing to me that I've been talking about. Oh, I'm never gonna forever. I've been talking about, oh, I'll never be able to film The Devil's Servants again. I'll never be able to. I could probably put a collide video of me saying that multiple times. um, but the fact that I've made the movie, I filmed it, it's gonna be on YouTube. It's just surreal to me. Thank you. It's really messed up though. It's really dark. It's really intense. It's like Texas Chainsaw Massacre out of there. Um, at least that's how the script was. It was just very like shocking. It's a really shocking uh, script. It's a really shocking movie. Um, even like when I was working with the actors on this film, sometimes they felt a little uncomfortable because it's so heavy and messed up, and it's like you thought the first one was different, and I took things to a whole new level. This does it even more. Like it's like the first one on acid is a way I could describe it. It's the first one, but like yeah, just going crazy. So it's kind of like the Temple of Doom kind of sequel, where it just goes somewhere. It's got a plot, it's got a beginning, middle, and end, and kind of sets up for another movie. There could be another movie, uh, but it's crazy, you know, and it's opposite of the previous film, and I know Temple of Doom is a prequel, but I'm just saying that I'm thinking about any movie I could compare it to, in terms of how crazy a sequel can be. I respect creators for going there really dark places. Yeah, yes, yeah, me too. Because honestly, Temple of Doom, that was the first Indiana Jones movie I saw as a kid. I found that movie too. It was under my grandparents' couch, and I don't think it was theirs. It was the people that originally lived there, or whatever. I don't know who it was, whose VHS tape it was. I just found it under a couch one day, and I played it and watched it, and I was like, "Whoa!" Very dark, for a kid to watch, but it said PG, so I thought it was okay. Um, it definitely was scary, in certain places. There was parts that were really, really horrifying. It was more so when like Indiana Jones goes through that transformation to becoming evil, bad. That the possess when he's possessed, that really scared the hell out of me as a kid. That's thanks to Harrison Ford's amazing acting, you know? And he was actually in pain when he filmed that movie, so that was probably real. That's probably why it was even more effective, but that always was intense to me. Um, I mean, Harrison Ford was, like, the most intense actor to me growing up that I watched, like, the one that really made me feel a certain way in certain dark scenes. But, yeah, I could handle it because it still had the adventure and fun and, you know, uh, magic of Indiana Jones. It was, I mean, I didn't see anything prior, but I still thought it was a fun adventure, you know, and it was meant to be that, you know, scary, so who where the bad guys were and who were the good guys, and who to root for. Um, and I enjoyed it. I don't know. But so I didn't watch Raiders of the Lost Ark and Last Crusade until after Temple of Doom. So I think I'm one of those few people that saw Temple of Doom uh, before the other movies. So that's kind of cool though, because it is my favorite one out of all of them. But that was the film that created the PG-13 rating. Yes, it did. It did. Yep, it created the PG-13 rating. That's just so iconic about that film, and it's actually my favorite Spielberg movie. Is Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. That is my favorite Spielberg film. Everybody's got a favorite Spielberg movie, right? That's my favorite Spielberg film. Is Temple of Doom. because it's like a mix between like how dark, his movies, some of his dark movies are, and then like a mix of like his fun adventure movies that he makes. It's like kind of like a mix, you know. And also it's like him going places that like you could never probably go there today as a filmmaker, you know. Um, but yeah, I wanted this movie, The Devil Servants, to be a sequel that wasn't going to be more light on the tone, or more so just like so dark on the tone. It was more so just I wanted it to be messed up, crazier, a crazier movie. I wanted it to just be an insane film, uh, full of things that you wouldn't expect, elements that you wouldn't expect. So this isn't really yeah, copied off of anything really. This is its own um, movie. It's inspired by some other films, sure. Maybe I take some elements from movies or games into this. Manhunt would be a big inspiration. Don't know if you ever played that video game before, but that definitely there's like a little bit of that in there. Um, of course, like the found footage movies that were back in the day. And I'm talking before Paranormal Activity. Like we're talking like probably Blair Witch Project and you know those found footage movies earlier on in the 2000s before it got to Paranormal Activity. So there's tributes to those movies as well. Um, but it's trying to be its own thing. There's a little bit of VHS in there as well, in the Devil Servant movies. More so the first one. Just the fact, these characters finding these videos and watching them, I thought was so cool about VHS. So that there were tapes, Um, so there's a little bit of that, and a lot of that in the first one, and there's definitely stuff in this one that has that. But I just love the whole idea of it being half a film and half found footage. I just kind of like that mix, but as long as done right, I want it to be done right, and taken seriously, So that's very important, is to find a good balance because you don't want it to be fully a found footage movie, but you don't want it to be a full movie. So you have to find the right mix. And I feel like if the found footage genre would have kept on with it being half a movie, half found footage, then the found footage genre might still be around. But because they, kind of jumped the shark with Paranormal Activity, I know there's people that love that franchise, but to me, that's where they jumped the shark. And then you had like The Devil Inside and all these other bad found footage movies, and I think that really destroyed the found footage genre. Sounds interesting. I forgot about VHS. I remember liking it. Yeah, I think they're on Netflix. Um, and it was the first two that were really, really good. Um, and I just thought that it was so brilliant. The idea of like a movie being half found footage and then half, a film. But I made the Double Servants like more than just two characters watching videos. Then these characters became a part of the plot, the everything that was happening, with the whole, with Tracy's dad, after he shoots her and he kills her, he goes to the detective station because he wants to take all the video files, and now these detectives are, there and they're caught up in this, situation that was happening, with all these characters. So it wasn't like they just watched, just a bunch of videos. They eventually became a part of it, you know. Uh, and yeah, so you have to do it right, when you tell these certain stories, and you have to make sure that all these characters have important, uh, that their characters are written well, that they're just well written characters. Uh, my throat again. Sorry about that. Oh, So I'm pretty much going to be wrapping up this live stream. But Mario Mania, if there was any questions that you have about the Devil Servants, please ask. That's what this live stream was about. Was to talk to everybody about this movie more, and to yeah, and I think I'm gonna do another live stream on Tuesday, because I feel like, I'll get more people into the live chat and I can talk more about it. You know, hopefully you'll be there. But yeah, Saturday night, it's how many people live stream on a Saturday night, So I'm up against probably millions of people live streaming right now, or close to it, um, or thousands upon thousands of people. So if you want to ask at least, I don't know, a couple questions or something, I will feel free to ask them. Um, Really looking forward to seeing it, Ryan. I think it's going to be a good one. Well, thank you, Mario Mania. Do you have any questions? Or a question about the movie? This comes out in October, which wows me. You know, that's in 4 months. Well, realistically, in a way, basically 3 months. This movie has to be uh, completed by the end of September. So I have to wrap this movie up by September like 30th. Um, so, and then while I'm in post with this movie, then there's, filming for Cage of Madness still, so there's all this going on. It's like, oh man, it's a lot. Do you have a question, Mario Mania, for the Double Servants? Will it be a longer or shorter film? Um, well, originally it was going to be longer, but it's going to be shorter than the first movie. I really was hoping that it would be, longer, um, but maybe that's not necessarily a bad thing, though, because the Twilight short, has amazing responses, and that's only a 10-minute movie. People love Jester more than Jester Returns, and the first Jester was shorter. Um, uh, it's not necessarily always a bad thing that my movie length is like, maybe 18 minutes, or something like that. I think that's going to be the runtime for it is around like that 20-minute mark. Uh, with like a total of credits and like all that stuff, it'll be like in that 20-minute range, but it's not going to be like a half hour. The first one was like a half hour. Um, Thank you. Some of the best ones are shorter. Yeah, I feel like maybe that's a good thing. Maybe it's good that it is shorter, you know, because then there's so much effort that went into these, other scenes. Um, so maybe like to me, I find certain scenes so important, but then other people don't. Maybe because those scenes aren't necessary, But because I know these characters and these worlds better than anybody else, it's like, oh, well, if I don't get this scene, then it's just gonna mess everything up, and it's people aren't gonna understand what's going on. And I worry most about people knowing what is happening in the film, because I don't want people confused as to who this person is and that person is, and so you have to have all this exposition, and you know, the audiences today aren't laid back in that way where they're like, I'm just gonna sit back and just enjoy this movie, But like today, everybody's a critic, and everything has to be explained. And if nothing's explained, then people can't get into it because it doesn't make sense, and then it just becomes a mess. And it's like, I guess, people would say that that's cheating the audience or manipulating the audience by making a film out to be a good movie, but the writing is so bad, so it's not really a good film. I guess example is like Wonder Woman 1984. Some movies, where it's directed so well, but the writing is so atrocious. Um, but always as a writer and director, I make sure that both are on the same level. And I mainly focus more on story, and the story itself, and that dialogue, because that's what is, what these characters are going to say, and that's the movie's all going to be paced with the script, and if the script doesn't work, the dialogue doesn't work, you know, then the movie's not going to work. It all starts with a script. The script is so important, you know. And there has been some amazing moments in movies, some amazing improv moments, that weren't in the script of certain films, where it was like better than the actual dialogue in the script. And that stuff is awesome. When you know you're on set and something becomes even better than the actual, what you wrote. When an actor brings it to life more, and they get into the role, and they like want to improv a line, and stuff like that's just always so cool to me. I love that stuff as a director. Is when actors try to be creative and fun and animated with their characters rather than just playing it. You know, playing the character and not really expressing ideas of theirs. Maybe sometimes I think about when I get all these people from my movies, I think, okay, they're acting in it, so maybe this person has a artistic side, writing wise, or maybe directing side, or something, and maybe they'll give certain insight, or advice about the film, or some improv. Some do and some don't, and I've learned that as a director, not everybody is like that. So it's always good to have a script because everybody's different. So even when I work with those people that just want to improv their lines, and do something different, uh, um, that's great, but that doesn't always happen. So I'm glad that I am a storyteller and a screenwriter, and I write screenplays for people. But this is the first movie out of all of them that I didn't print out the script. I did print out the original versions of the script back in 2019 when it was supposed to be filmed in 2020. But because of the pandemic and how so many things changed throughout time, I had to do upon rewrites, upon rewrites, upon rewrites, upon rewrites. And so um, everybody had to read their scripts on their phone, their iPhones. But I made sure that the versions I sent them, their copies, were highlighted though, whether it was highlighted in yellow or green or red. I just want to make sure that their lines were highlighted because that makes it easier for the actor so they know like where their lines are. Um, so this was the first movie, and also Cajun Madness Part 2 that I'm going to be filming soon, are my first movies to ever be uh, not read on a script by people like on paper. It's all on their phone, so it's a little different. But I can't wait to go more into this movie and talk more about it and give more news and update you guys. Release a trailer. I'm working on a behind the scenes featurette kind of thing, behind the scenes part 2 that's coming out really soon for this movie. So you guys get to see more. And yeah, I just can't believe it. So thank you, Mario Mania, for joining my live stream. I really, really appreciate it. I had a lot of fun tonight talking to you and other people, and I will make sure to live stream in the future very soon, probably on Tuesday. Why not? You know, I haven't made any videos in a while. I haven't made any videos for 2 months, so I think I'm long overdue to do a little bit more at my channel and talk to you guys more. um, I will ask you one more thing though, Mario Mania. Do you ever go to community on my channel? Um, where it says community on like YouTube channels? Um, because every once in a while I'll post something on my community whole thing, whatever. This is something that YouTube used to have, but cooler, and now they brought it back because they didn't have it for a long time. So now you can talk. You can like sort of make tweets in a way, you know, to people. Let your audience know, your subscribers know what's going on. Because sometimes I post things on my in my community, where at least it says community. It says that where I'll talk about filming Wrapped or this actor passed or this or that or that. There's that on there. Yes, I see your posts sometimes on my homepage. Okay. All right. Cool. Cool. Yeah, I didn't know that feature existed for a while, and sometimes I forget that it exists. So I just have to make sure that I keep up to date with the community. You know, it's always good to be up to date with your community, with your subscribers, because these people are subscribed to you. You know, and they want content. That's why they subscribe to you. So you have to give them that content and be involved in the community. So thank you, Mario Mania. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you have a great night. I hope you have a great rest of your weekend. I'm filming a scene tomorrow for Devil Servants. Even though the movie is completed, I'm still filming scenes. And I have more and more updates and everything in the future. So thank you for joining. And everybody that tuned in tonight, I really appreciate it. Have a great Saturday, and I will talk to you all very soon. I'll end it with my masks. Ah, hold on. I dropped my mask. Oh, okay. That is the Devil Servants live stream. I hope everyone enjoyed and have a great weekend. This was fun. Have a good night, Ryan. You too, Mario Mania. Peace.